Hi everyone. I want to share with you today a little hip stretch. It's really good for our sciatic nerves. That's the nerve that runs from our low back down through our booty and our legs. It actually goes all the way to the feet. So if you're feeling any pain or tingling there, this is a great workout to do just to kind of relieve some pressure on that nerve. It actually helps open up our sacroiliac joint, I should say, where that nerve runs through, and give it a little release of pressure. So start with me. We're going to start on our backs. Whenever you're ready. Again, if you have some blocks nearby and you feel like you might need them, they're good to have, but you don't necessarily need them for this practice. So whenever you're ready, find your way to your back. We're going to start in a wind relieving pose, tucking your knees in. If you want to roll side to side, go for that. That usually gives a nice little massage to the low back there. Just kind of warming it up. Moving around any fluid if it's swollen. That's a good thing to do. You can even kind of circle the knees. Maybe go the other direction if you're circling. Alright, and then find your way towards center again. Let's plant our right foot on the ground, crossing our left ankle over. You can stay here if this feels good for you. You can also give a little push to this knee, this left knee, pushing it away from you. That's going to give it a little stretch kind of on the back booty here, back thigh. If you need a little bit more, you can bring this right foot in, or you can lift the right leg up completely, interlacing behind the thigh, using your left elbow to push that left leg out. Something I notice here, if you are in this pose, roll to the right a little bit. It's our tendency to roll towards the left a little too much, bringing our hips out of alignment, taking some pressure off the right hip. And that's actually gonna, when you pull your hips right, it's gonna give you a little bit better stretch in that left booty. So give that a try. And take a couple breaths. Flexing both feet, keeping the engagement in the legs. And then switching sides, uncrossing the left leg, putting that down, crossing the right ankle over the left. Again, you can use your right hand to give a little push. You can walk that left heel in, or you can lift that leg up fully, interlacing behind, using your right elbow to counterbalance that. And then again, pull left a little bit. You're going to notice a huge difference in the stretch. And breathe. Awesome job, everyone. Let's release our legs, tucking our knees back into our chest, and then let's start to rock and roll, if this feels comfortable, lengthwise along your mat. Hopefully we can build up enough steam to roll over and then find your way into child's pose. However it's comfortable for you to get there. Knees as wide or as close as they need to be, big toes touching in the back, booty sticking back onto the heels, arms can reach out or wrap around, but take a couple breaths here, breathing into the low back. This is our moment for grounding, for releasing any tension or stress. If you feel a little tense right now, take a nice big inhale, and then sigh out on the exhale. We'll practice together. Ready? 2 more times like that. 1 more. Coming back to your regular breath for just a couple more moments of silence, moments of quiet. Next, inhale, put a little pressure into your hands. Slide them back if you need, coming into table pose. Shoulders right over wrist, hips right over knees, toes planted on the floor. Let's do a few cat-cows here. So on an inhale, lift in the booty, drop in the belly, broadening across the chest, lifting the chin for cow. Exhale, angry Halloween cat, tuck in the booty, rounding the shoulders, dropping and tucking the chin, and flow through. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Great job. We're going to step our hands forward now. Nice and big. Tuck our toes in the back, coming up to a down dog. First down dog of the day. Walk it out. Maybe bend your knees nice and deep, getting a nice push through your hands. Remember to claw those hands so that way we bring the weight out of the wrist into the fingertips, into the knuckles where the palm and fingers meet. Bringing the weight there. On an inhale, walk, step, or hop up to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway up, bringing the belly into the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, big reverse swan dive, coming on up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's flow through now. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bending your knees nice and deep, planting your hands, walk, step, or hop back to a plank. Lowering the knees, coming through knees, chest, chin. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Great job, everyone. Now let's lift our right leg up nice and high. If you want to open the hip, you can stack the right hip over the left, bending the right knee, maybe looking under the left armpit to see those right toes. And then inhale, coming back towards center. Exhale, bringing that right foot up in between the hands, dropping the back knee, uncurling the toes. We're going to come into a low lunge. You can stay down here or you can press up here. Just settling here for a breath. Breathing. Getting a nice stretch in this back left thigh. Great. On an inhale, let's come out of the pose a little bit. We're going to tuck our booty, tuck the tailbone, lift the low belly up, knitting the bottom hip point to the bottom ribs, or the top hip point to the bottom ribs, engaging that, and then again sinking. You're not going to go as far, but you're going to get a little bit better stretch here in this left thigh. So using our abs, using the core to engage. Now on an exhale, bring our hands back to the mat. Inhale, walk the front leg straight. You can roll the ankle a little bit, moving between point and flex in the toes. That feels good to start. But eventually find yourself settled with nice flexed toes. That's going to give you the best stretch along the backside here. Taking a breath. On an inhale, walking back towards low lunge. We're going to come into a twist now. So let's plant our left hand on the ground. You can bring your right hand to the low back or up high. If that feels good, stay here. If you'd like a little more, tuck the back toes, pop the back knee up. You can stay here, or again, if you want more, bring the left elbow across the right knee, hands into prayer hands. Ooh, nice deep twist here. Taking a couple breaths. Now let's bring our hands back to the mat, untwisting. We're gonna walk our right hand inside our right leg, walk that right leg out, drop the back knee, come into lizard lunge. So you can stay here, again, sinking the hips a little bit, or if you feel good, you need a little more, you can come down onto your elbows. I sometimes like to wrap, give that leg a little hug, kind of keep my knee pressing in towards my shoulder. This is a nice little reminder to do that. But this should feel like a little bit of an intense stretch, but that's a good thing. This is also sometimes called runner's lunge, so you might have heard it called that at one point as well. And inhale, coming back out of the pose, recentering that right foot just a little bit. We're going to pop onto our toes, and then we're going to pop that back leg in and up, coming into warrior one. Growing nice and tall. You want your feet to be on a railroad track. I'm going to turn you so you can see it. You don't want nice in alignment. That's shortening our hip squareness. It's making it actually more difficult to do the pose. You actually want your hips nice and square. Feet on railroad tracks, not in a line. Coming into warrior one, bending into that front knee, turning back so you can see this part now. You also want to be sure your front knee doesn't go over your toes. It wants to stay right over the ankle. That's the safest place for the knee joint. Pushing back in that back leg, squaring the hips by bringing that back hip forward. Beautiful. And then on an inhale, we're going to straighten the front knee, bringing our hands down to the hips. This is my favorite stretch for that sciatic nerve. So grow really tall on an inhale, and then on an exhale with a nice flat back, begin to fold forward. You don't have to go very far. This could be it. If you'd like a little bit more, you're feeling a good stretch in this right back thigh, but maybe you need a little bit more, you can continue to fold forward, reaching for your thigh, maybe your shin, maybe the ankle, maybe all the way to the ground, whatever feels good. Wherever you at, wherever your ending pose is, push into that front foot really firmly so we can bring that front hip back in a line with the back hip. And again, bring the weight back into the body. Don't let this back leg get lazy and have no weight in it. Push your weight back. Feel a nice intense stretch. I feel it right here. I feel it right here. Definitely feel it in the back of the knee. Keep a little bend in the front knee. Don't want to lock out the joint. But take a second to feel that stretch. It is very intense, for sure. So if it's too much, back off. Come up a little bit. That is okay to do. I'm just going to take a couple of deep breaths here. And then bend that front knee. You can lift the back heel off, planting the hands. Let's step back to down dog. However you need to get there, find your way there. Taking a breath, relaxing, maybe walking the knees out again. And then let's float forward to plank. Again, lowering through knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Coming into up dog or cobra. And then exhaling to down dog. Woo. Switching sides. Lift that left leg up nice and tall. If you would like to open the hip, you can open it, stacking it over the right, bending the left knee. Maybe seeing if you can see those left toes under the right armpit. And then inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, swinging that left leg forward, dropping the right knee, coming into a low lunge. You can stay low, or you can kind of come up high, whatever feels good to you here. Letting it sink, letting it settle initially for a couple breaths. This side, my right hip is a little tighter, so I sometimes give it a little, just gentle love, not forcing it, just a little gentle love. But hanging out here for a breath or two. Letting that right quad, the right psoas get a stretch. The hip flexor, all of the above, right? And then inhale, coming out of the pose a little bit, tucking our booty, bringing our belly in, knitting the ribs and hips together, and then settling again. Woo! That really fires up this front leg. You're going to feel a lot different stretch there now. And then breathing, taking this time to breathe. You might hear this a lot in yoga. Send your breath to any tight spots. Not that you can actually physically control where your breath is going, but the idea of just sending some love to the spots that are tight and clenched might help to just release, relax, calm the nervous system down in that area, and give the muscles a little chance to expand and stretch. On your next inhale, let's come on back down to the mat, and then inhale again, stretch back, half monkey. You can point and flex the toe here if you need to, just to start. Sometimes that helps, that little bit of movement, just stretch everything into where it needs to go. But again, eventually find stillness with a nice flexed toe, feeling the stretch in the back left of your leg. Breathe here. On your next inhale, walking back towards the front. Let's plant our right hand nice and firmly, coming into the twist. Left hand can come to the low back or up if that feels good. And then again, if you need more, pop the toes, pop that back knee up. If you still need more, cross that right elbow over, coming into prayer hands, getting a nice twist in the torso. And breathing here. On an inhale, coming back towards center, we're going to bring our left hand in, walking that left foot out a little bit, dropping the right knee back down, lizard lunge. You can stay here if that feels good, or again, you can come down onto your elbows. I like to wrap that leg. It helps me remind to keep my knee close to my shoulder. But taking a breath here. If it feels too intense, low, walk back up. No need to hurt yourself. Just be mindful of what your body is feeling today. All right. On your next inhale, coming back up, walking that left foot in just a little bit. Again, we're going to come into warrior one. So popping the back toes, stepping that right foot out wide. So that way we have railroad hips. If you need to, adjusting the front foot, squaring your hips towards the front of your mat, warrior one. Breathe here. Settle into the pose, settle into your feet. Maybe draw that left hip back Bringing that front hip, the right hip, forward. And then on an inhale, straighten the front leg, bring your hands towards your hips. Grow tall again on another inhale, and then exhale, fold forward. Keeping a little bend in the front knee. Going as far as you need, wherever that's at. And then when you find your end point, pushing through that front leg, bringing that left hip back so the front hip can come forward and your hips are more square. Taking a breath. This area can be a little slow to release, so we do want to take some time in these poses, not rush through them, allowing your body the space and time it needs to settle and relax. I don't know about you guys at home, but my hamstrings are talking to me. Woo! They are tight on this side. Bend that front knee, lift the back heel off. Let's step back to down dog. Whew. Walking it out for a second. You need to lift up and shake. Do that. Give your body what it needs. And then let's lift our right leg again. We're going to come into pigeon pose. So lifting the right leg, bringing the right knee towards right wrist. Right foot towards the left wrist. If that's too much, slide that foot back towards the hip, walking the toe back, keeping our hips nice and square, not leaning over towards the right or too much towards the left. Nice and even. And then again, walking the hands forward, coming onto your elbows if that feels good. Taking some time here. Also make sure your right foot is nice and flexed. Keep that knee safe. Nice deep breaths. Taking slower exhales, longer exhales than your inhales. I should say a variation to this pose is the pose we came into second in our practice, the figure four. So if this is ever too much, roll over onto your back, come into those figure fours. That's a safer way to do this if you have any knee pain, or again, it just feels like too intense of a stretch. On an inhale, let's bring our hands back underneath us, tucking the back toes, coming off that right leg, giving it a good shake out. Woo! And then again, planting it onto the ground, maybe walking the knees, maybe taking a nice deep bend, stretching through the hands, and then lift our left leg up. Exhale, bringing it forward, left knee to left wrist, left foot to right wrist, walking that back leg back, keeping a nice flex in our left toes, nice square hips, and then folding forward. Breathing here, taking those nice deep breaths with long exhales. If you hear any meowing in the background, that's my cats. They're outside the door wanting to come in. But I'm pretty sure they would knock over the camera and I'd have to refilm the whole thing. So they're staying out there for now. Alrighty. When you're ready, you can walk back up onto your hands, tucking the back toes, coming off that left leg. Again, giving it a good shake. Walking it out for just a second in down dog. Maybe finding your fullest expression of down dog for a breath. And then we're going to drop our knees, coming in to hero's pose, so that way we can transition off of our legs to a sitting pose here. Let's come into it's called half Lord of the Fish twist. We're going to take our right leg, bend it over the left, and then turning towards our right leg, you can bring your elbow over around, or you can just kind of hug that leg. Right hand comes back behind you, twisting. On an inhale, growing tall. Exhale, twist. On an inhale, unwind, releasing the right leg. You need to popcorn the knees, and then switching, bringing the left leg over, planting that foot, turning towards that left knee, wrapping the right arm around. Bring your left hand behind you, growing tall on an inhale, and then exhale, twist. On an inhale, coming back towards center, releasing that left leg, popcorning it out, and then again, finding yourself in the middle of your mat. Let's lower down here. Ooh, nice and slow. If you'd like to take a bridge, you can walk your heels close to the booty, maybe to the point where you can touch them, planting, gotta move my hair here, planting the back of your head, the shoulders, and the feet firmly into the ground so that way you can lift your hips up. Getting one more stretch for the front side of your body, a little strength building in the hips and booty here. Squeezing your knees together, don't let them flop wide, keep them in close. And then on an exhale, lowering down, nice and slowly. Let's just step our knees, our feet wide, and drop the knees over to one side. Getting a little stretch here. And then inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, dropping your knees to the other side. Inhale, coming back up to center. A couple of options for you here. If you'd like, we're going to come right into Shavasana now. You can stretch long along your mat, or if you'd like a little bit more leg work, we're going to come into legs up the wall. To do that, find a nice, clean, open wall space where you're not going to bump into anything. And then I sit sideways with my shoulder and my hip pressing against the wall. And then I just kind of lower down, lifting my legs up the wall, scooching the booty in as much as it needs to be close. And then you can hang out here for Shavasana, draping your arms, letting your legs flow up. This is a great pose if you have any swelling in your feet or ankles. It'll help reverse the flow of the lymph, so all of that fluid is just going to drain. It's going to be a little bit easier for your heart to pump also up towards your feet, getting some fresh blood there. But whatever pose you find yourself in for the spinal relaxation, take a deep breath. And relax there for just a couple minutes. Beginning to deepen her breath now. And start wiggling fingers and toes. Maybe circling your wrists and ankles. Wherever you're at, if you'd like to take an overhead body stretch, you can reach long. And release the effort. You can roll to your right side, gently moving your legs off the wall if your legs are up the wall. Or whether you're in Shavasana, just roll off to your right side, taking a couple of breaths here. And on an inhale, use your arms to push you back up to an easy seated pose, scooching away from the wall if you're there. Rooting down through your sits bones, growing tall on an inhale through your spine. When you're ready, on an inhale, bring your hands to heart center. Exhale, bowing forward, saying namaste. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate you being here. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.